first thing we're going to do is look at our color wheel. We start off, you guys got your primary colors, your red, your yellow, and your blue. You also have a black and you have a white. So we can mix all these colors to get any color that we want at all. You guys probably know red and yellow will make your orange, red and blue will make your purple, and blue and yellow will make your green. We can put whites in these and make pinks and different types of colors. We can also put blacks in these to make them a little bit darker. If you put black in them, be very careful. You only need a little bit of black in there. Make sure you have something under your painting. This could get messy. We need to mix some paint and some water for our background. I got about a dime size amount of the blue paint, and I'm going to use my sponge brush and I'm going to get some water. I'm going to mix those together. This is going to be more like a watercolor background. Make sure your brush is clean. If it's got a little bit of blue paint in it, that's okay. You'll be able to see where it's going. I just have clear water here in my sponge brush, and I'm painting a layer of water on there. This is going to give it that watercolor effect. Once you have the water all over the canvas, don't forget the sides, you can dip into your blue paint. I'm going to start at the top here. I want my top to be a little bit darker than my bottom, and that's why I'm going to start up here. Get all of the canvas, go all the way across, do your sides, just like I did, and your bottom. After you have your sides done, go ahead and dip back into that blue paint. You can go horizontal, that's across. Go all the way to about halfway, maybe a little bit more than halfway. Then we're going to tip that canvas up. That blue paint to run down into the water on the bottom. It'll make it lighter down there than the top. After you have that done, get your sponge brush ready. Dip it into your water. We're going to put some more water down on the bottom. This will also make it a little bit lighter. Can't see it, but that sponge brush has a lot of water in it. See how I'm just painting over the blue that has dripped down, and it's nice and light now. If you want, you can take your sponge brush and get some more blue paint on it and start at the top again. Maybe it got a little bit too light up there whenever you tilted your canvas, so you can put some more blue on there, and then you can go and tilt your canvas again. Wow, look at that. It looks like waves. I should have stopped tilting my canvas and just let it dry like that. I was doing a little experiment here. My canvas is still wet, and I get a paper towel. I want to see if I can daub that blue out of the flowers. That way we get a better color on there. In the end, it really didn't matter that I did this, but I think maybe I'll take a painting and do this and just leave it like that at the end with that tie-dye kind of white with a little blue in it. I think that would be really cool. Maybe you could try it. Pause the video, let it dry, and now you're caught up. It's time to mix up some green for the turtle's body. I got a quarter size amount of yellow and just one little dot of blue, and I'm going to mix them up really good. The more yellow you put in this, the brighter your green will be. Okay, I hope your painting's dry. You know, one way to get it dry faster is use a hairdryer. I've loaded at my brush with the green. I didn't put a lot of paint on there. The more paint I have on there, the harder it's going to be to work with. My brush is flat on one side, so I use that to my advantage to get nice crisp lines. Don't worry about going into the black. You can go into the black line, just try not to go over the black line. Be nice and smooth with your strokes. Don't have a lot of paint on there. We're going to put more than one layer of paint on. Move on and do all four legs. When you need to get into that tight spot, like right there, use just the edge of your brush. We're just going to do one layer here. If you need to turn your canvas to make it easier for you to get into a certain area, definitely do that. Turn your canvas all the time. Just make sure you don't get your hand in any of the wet paint. Pause video, get caught up, and let your paint dry. This is my first layer. I'm going to go back in with my pen and go over my flowers. That way I don't lose them. If you lose your flowers, don't panic. There's a trick. Take your painting, put it up to the window. Make sure your painting's dry. Put it up to a window that has lots of light, and just take your marker. You'll be able to see those flowers. You could just draw them right back on. Pause video and get those flowers drawn. We need to mix up an orange. I have about a quarter amount of yellow and one little dot of red. I'm going to mix it up really good. The key to having a nice bright orange is to have lots of yellow. I'm going to use that orange and paint in the outer rim of the turtle shell. I am being careful, but remember, you can get on that black line. It's okay. We're going to go back over those black lines with your black marker at the very end of the painting. Be careful. This is a really tight area. Use the side of your brush when you need to. Let your brush work for you. Also, remember, don't put too much paint on there. You can do 2 layers. It's much better to do 2 thin layers than a big gloppy 1 layer. You won't like the way it looks. Okay, put those Crocs in speed mode. We're going to go all the way around the outside of the shell. Pause video, get caught up, and let your paint dry. I'm going to mix up some paint for the flowers. Got about a quarter size amount of white and just a dot of red. I'm going to mix that up real good to get a pretty pink. If you want a lighter pink, put more white in it. If you want a darker pink, put more red in it. Are you ready to paint some hibiscus flowers? Mine are going to be pink. You could make them whatever color that you want them. I'm going to be really careful. This is another tight area, so don't have a lot of paint on your brush. It's better to do 2 layers, remember? I'm going to use the flat side of my brush to help me out. I'm going to use the edge of my brush to get down there in those corners. Remember, turn the canvas. If it's easier for you to paint in one direction, turn the canvas every time that you need to. Oh, but make sure you don't get your hand in any of your wet paint. Speed mode. Pause the video and let it dry. Open up your white paint and dip a little bit into it. We don't want a lot of white on our brush. We're just making some accent marks. I'm using the edge of my brush and I'm picking the sides, the tops of the feet and the arms and the side of the head. I'm just making a little curved line. See how my pinky there? That's helping me steady my hand. If you need to do that, you go right ahead and do it. We're going to move on and we're going to do the flowers too. That's why we needed to have them dry. I'm just going to pick one side of the flower and then I'm going to put a little accent mark on it. Watch. Now I'm just using the tip of the end of my brush and I'm dipping it in the white paint. That's how I'm going to make those dots. The more dots that you do, the less paint will be on your brush and your dots will get little. Just load your brush back up. We're going to go all the way around in the outer edge of that orange. Pause video, get caught up, and let everything dry. Who doesn't love glitter paint? I'm going to go ahead and use my glitter paint on the flowers. You can put your glitter paint anywhere you want. Pause video, let the paint dry, and get caught up. It's very important that your paint is dry before you start this step. If you need to, get that hair dryer and get it dried up. Otherwise, you're going to ruin this marker. I'm just going to go around all of the edges. That way, anywhere that I got paint on my black, I can fill that in and it's going to look nice and sharp. Make sure that you turn your painting around so it works with you. If you need to turn it to draw those lines, turn it to draw those lines. I'm going to go to speed mode to do my lines. You take your time. This is where you make it yours. Put your name on it, or put a word on it like I did. Mine says Aloha. I hope you had fun painting this Aloha turtle.